I'm a Nigerian transsexual homeless on the street in New York City, and I'm being subjected to so much abuse and torture by the members of NYPD, the undercover agents, since they brought back the undercover unit by this Mayor Adams, even though the Brooklyn Federal Court in 2013 declared them illegal because the excesses led to the death of Shambel, a Black American male, and my friend Eric Garner, and he called them the neighborhood safety team, and they used their undercover agent to harass me because somebody when the MTA locked up the bathrooms in 2020, a guy lured me to his house. I believe I was set up at the subway station because I used to file complaints against them because since I've been homeless, I always use the public bathroom in the subway, and they used to leave it dirty, and they say it's always been like that in New York. The subway bathrooms are usually dirty, so leave it unflushed for like years and leave it sometimes overflowing. I'm sorry to be so graphic. So I would always call their 511 number to make complaint. I would call and so they were able to figure me out that I was the one making complaint regularly. And so they set me up, lock up the bathrooms in 2020. And then I went to I was looking for the bathroom. They didn't announce it. It came as a surprise because they know I normally use the bathroom in the morning. So I went to the first bathroom, locked up, second bathroom, locked up. So I was going from borough to borough looking for a bathroom to use. They had like 300 bathrooms. All the bathrooms were locked up. So I went to 161 Street, Yankee Stadium, for a train stop. The bathroom there was locked up. So I approached the police officer in that station has a precinct. So I approached them, can I please use the bathroom? They told me nope. So a guy, that was waiting nearby told me I could come to his house to use the bathroom. I felt like I was set up, and he took me to his house and he told me he wanted to get married right away. I was like, no, I'm not looking to get married. Within 6 days, he was, taking sexual advantage of me. He would threaten me with eviction, even though he told me I could stay there, and he would take sexual advantage of me. And he kicked me out. He was punching me, even though there was a eviction freeze by Governor Cuomo at the time, and he left my face with blood on my face while he was punching me. I called 911 and I told them that, he was abusing me and was trying to kick me out. And the police joined with them. They told me if he wants me gone, then I have to go. And I told them there's an eviction freeze, and they didn't care, So I believe I was set up by the MT and the Me Too, because at that time I was raising awareness in the suburb about the Me Too, that Eric Garner was helping me with my court papers, because as far back as 2010, the police invaded my home, my basement apartment on Staten Island, and kicked me and my mother out unlawfully and sexually attacked me. They sexually nude search me, which is a form of sexual abuse, So I filed a lawsuit against the NYPD, and Eric Garner was supposed to help me with the court papers. I spoke with them on Bay Street and Victor Boulevard on Staten Island. And as soon as I spoke with them, within weeks, the police went and choked him dead, and they were laughing on the same place where I spoke with him. That's where they killed him. That's the same spot where I spoke with Eric Garner last, and I recorded him as I was speaking with them. And I was under FBI surveillance also because I used to have an immigration court case for like 8 years from 2000 to 2008. When my mother brought me into America in 2000, my mother had a green card, but I was arrested by U.S. immigration even though I was only 19. And they said, children are not welcome in America, So I was arrested and they sent my fingerprint to the FBI. I was taken to the Wackenhut detention facility in Queens. My mother used to come there to visit me, And unfortunately, her daughters killed her, Bologna, Florida. They were born in America. They killed her because after I filed a lawsuit against the NYPD, and Eric Garner was trying to help me with the court papers, Eric Garner was choked dead. So I think my mother said they became very jealous because Eric Garner got so much attention. I think, they were, my mother said they were aware of my lawsuit because I stopped talking with them, because they were very abusive to me. But my mother said they were monitoring my lawsuit online, But every now and then I would speak with them on the phone, but there wasn't a close relationship, But my mother said they were monitoring my lawsuit online and they were very jealous, you know. And so they were because the NYP got evicted me and my mother wrongfully, and my mother had a heart disease, and I started the lawsuit as because of the stress they subjected me and my mother to. My mother was having symptoms of a heart attack as the police was evicting us, So my mother said that our daughters, including our daughters, one of the daughters' name was Flora, the other name was Bala Balanle, and said one of the daughters, Flora, was married to a Black American U.S. soldier. His name is Ayinde, and said that one, when my mother was living with Flora and the husband and the children, said that the Ayinde would try to punch my mother. It was a Black American U.S. soldier, and it was just a scare tactic. He would run towards my mother like he's about to punch her, when the police is called, the police would say, they kind of arrest them for attempting to punch her. They didn't really punch her. So my mother was feeling like it was using scare tactic on her and trying to, she didn't understand what that was about. Then she said that Flora would drive my mother in the back seat of the car and would go and drive into somebody's house and hit the wall. Trying to scare my mother to death. And my mother didn't understand what was going on, why they were trying to scare her to death. But my mother told me it seems like they were trying to kill her, and the ambulance will come, to the scene of the accident and stuff. Then my mother left Flora to go live with the other daughter, Balale, and she said that one would live. That one has a house also. They both have separate houses, their own personal houses. Said that Balale, they were both living in Pennsylvania, And so then they said Balale, she would leave snow on the floor. Because my mother said she wasn't like that before. She wouldn't do that before. But as soon as I filed the lawsuit against the NYPD, said anytime the snow falls, this Balale would leave the snow on the floor for days, wouldn't sweep up the snow, and my mother would trip on the snow. And she was trying to get my mother to be scared to death. And so my mother's about to fall, her heart would skip a beat, And then they said the Flora came to visit my mother at Bolanle's house. The Flora fell on the snow, and they had to take her by ambulance to the hospital. My mother says that's when she went and, used a shovel to get rid of the snow. And then my mother felt that her daughter, Bolanle, may have been poisoning her with some kind of poison, but she didn't know what it was, because my mother's heart would start racing anytime she finished eating, like a car fluid type substance. My mother's heart would start racing really fast, and also her feet were swelling up, and she was having terrible pain. So, and she was about to have a heart attack. And anytime she leaves the daughter's house to come to New York and stays in New York for a couple of days, she'll start feeling better all of a sudden. So she felt like the daughter may have been poisoning her with some kind of substance, but she didn't know what it was. I didn't know what that substance was until this year. I heard a Black American male in Atlanta poisoned his child with car fluid. They call it antifreeze fluid. And the child was having the same symptoms as my mother. The child was vomiting. The child was having pain. The child couldn't breathe. And it was until this year they arrested. I said the child died also. My mother ended up dying. So my mother, the last time she went to stay with the Balale in May 2015, she was having her symptoms again. So she took the Greyhound bus to come to New York. On the way to New York, she began to have a heart attack. So the bus pulled over. The bus had reached New Jersey. The bus pulled over. My mother told the bus to keep on driving to New York. I believe the bus called an ambulance, but my mother said she didn't want to stop in Jersey. She wants to come to New York. She wants to be as far away from her daughters as possible, hoping, they could properly test her for any poison here in New York. And by the time she got to New York, she got off the ground and collapsed on the floor, and was vomiting, and they took her to the Bellevue hospital eventually. And then her daughters was calling my mother and asking her where she was. She told them she's in the hospital, but she didn't tell them the name of the hospital, and my mother was shocked. But the next day they arrived at the hospital, and she was wondering who gave them the name of the hospital, and she believed that Balane is part of a gang also, and she might be using drugs. And my mother said they resumed that the inciting panic on my mother, telling the hospital to lock her up in the psych ward and remove her from the ICU. because I put it in my court papers that the adorers were monitoring, that when the police wanted us to leave our home and was evicting us illegally, me and my mother didn't want to leave, and they threatened to put us in a psych ward if we don't leave or arrest us. So my mother began having symptoms of a heart attack, and they had to call the ambulance. So I put that in the court papers. So adorers were like, try to scare my mother. I told the Bellevue Hospital to lock her up in the mental ward, even though my mother, passed the mental health test. And as soon as they were moving my mother to the mental ward, they said my mother collapsed, and they didn't resuscitate her. They said the hospital put a white sheet over her and declared her dead prematurely. And the daughters went and took my mother's property, including my green card, because after my immigration case was over in 2008, the immigration mistakenly, issued me 2 green cards. My mother kept one, I kept one. So the one I had on me, the police choked me in 2019, stole that green card from me. And the other green card, my mother's daughter stole it, because my mother was holding that green card for me at the time my mother was killed by daughters at Bellevue Hospital. So my mother's daughters, Belani and Fred, took all my mother's property, even went to her storage, the squad keeper's self-storage on Staten Island, First Avenue, and took all of my mother's property, took it to Pennsylvania with them. So my passport, because I had a childhood passport with my mother, that my face was in a passport, the Nigerian passport, they have a passport like that you can enter, stamp the photo of your child in the passport. My other passport has been stolen, so I need a passport, child passport, because the Nigerian embassy is refusing to issue me another passport, and my green card, and my mother's daughters won't give me my immigration document back, which is unlawful imprisonment. There was a case here in New York State also whereby they said somebody brought somebody over from Africa and was using them to work as a nanny. And for a decade, they weren't paying this person good. So the person fled the house, but they wouldn't release the person's passport and visa to the person. So the person made a report with the police, and the police arrested the family that brought this person over from Africa for unlawful imprisonment. They said by the very act of taking someone's travel document, it's regarded as unlawful imprisonment. So in case anything happens to me, my mother's daughters, they need to arrest them for unlawful imprisonment. And the Nigerian embassy has told them about it also. When the police arrested me in 2019, Finn mental illness on me, and had me locked up in the mental ward, at NYC Psychiatric Hospital. Some days after, an African was throwing water at the police in 2019. They said an American, he was born in America, it's a Senegalese. He was throwing water at the police, and this police the NYPD was trying to set me up in Brooklyn, and in July 20, 2019, they had a guy was touching me in a sexual molestation way in front of the police camera on Bay Ridge Avenue and 4th Avenue, so I told him to stop it, and then the police came over and said somebody called them, so I was fighting with somebody. I said, a guy was touching me in a sexually harassing manner, and the police camera was recording. And before I could finish speaking, the police knocked me down and began choking me. They were trying to kill me. And bystanders appeared and told the police to stop choking me. And they were recording it. I have the video on my YouTube. I could try to look at the video right now on my YouTube. It's an old video, on my YouTube. It may be hard for me to locate. Yeah, this the video. This is the video. This video, as you can see, I'm being choked. As you can see, the police were choking me in this video. I'm not going to play the video now. I'm appealing for humanitarian assistance. My life, so that if you can go to my YouTube page and watch it. They choked me in 2019, but I post this video in 2024. So you can go to my YouTube page to watch it. So they set me up. This was they choked me July 23, 2019. So this chokehold they did to me after they killed my friend Oregon in 2014. They choked me also with their nail in 2019, and nobody would help me in America. So this video, this chokehold was done to me a few days after a Senegalese male was throwing water at the police in Harlem. So they had me set up. They used the undercover unit to touching me in a sexual molestation way. In this danger, my mother has been killed, my friend Rebecca has been killed. So before I play the video, I'm going to give you a preface of. So this location is Bay Ridge Avenue and 4th Avenue in Brooklyn. you know,
to this, you know, because so what did you call 911?
you know. So I'm trying to get,
So this is, I don't know,
you know. So I'm trying to see.
my life is in danger. No, I just said somebody.
You know, so I'm trying to show more of the location, but I was just talking over the video. But you can watch the full video on my YouTube page. You know, but this is Bay Ridge and 4th Avenue in Brooklyn. You know, some days before this, an African police woman that works with NYPD told me, we're soon going to take all your property from you and we're going to arrest you in this area. And I called IAB to report her. So I said, you know, that day some black American kids were spitting on me as I was charging my phone on the train. And they put an African police woman on in that train station, you know, and I told her, please, some black American kids are bothering me. And she told me, yeah, they're going to continue bothering you because we want you out of here. You know, so we don't want you here. And she was threatening me. She said, we're soon going to arrest you also, take all your property. I said, my property contains evidence for every garner. And I was recording her, you know, so I called IAB. IAB hung up on me. I gave her the badge number. I called them back, you know. So it was a pre-planned abuse. And even before that also, a black American butch that works for the MTA, she told me about the plot that was going to be arrested soon, you know, because I used to go to the Franklin Avenue train station on the 4 line, and the bathroom there, they left it nasty. When you flush, all the sewage water will be leaking out of on the floor. So I would record it, and one day she told me to stop recording stuff. I said, you know, I have a right to record stuff. I said, we're going to take that phone from you. So, you know, so we're going to snatch that phone from you. He said, you watch. You know, I was like, you can't do that, you know. So soon after that, the MTA brought a program, said top 50. I'm a Nigerian transsexual. The word top is a gay word in which, you know, it's a gay connotative word. It has a gay connotation. You know, the top is supposed to be the husband, and I, as a transsexual, I'm regarded as the more feminine. The top is supposed to be the man. You know, so they brought a top 50 program in which they told the police to arrest 50 homeless and put them in the psych ward. So I was part of the 50 homeless they put a mark on. I believe this other guy that was killed also with a chokehold. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, I think it was killed by Dana Penny. His name is Jordan Neely. He was another guy who was chokehold. They're still trying to figure out, you know, why he was chokehold on the train. You know, so they said he was part of the top 50 and part of the top 50. And all of us are part of the top 50. We're getting choked. This MTA. I don't know if they're involved in getting Jordan Neely choked also, but it's that. I'm a member of the top 50 also been choked also. And also the MTA got me raped in 2020. You know, that was COVID. And this is 2019 when they had me choked. But I was able to survive in the hospital. I called the Nigerian embassy. They promised to help me. I don't know what happened. They said the Nigerian government is broke and they accept bribery. All of a sudden, they stopped helping me. I told them Eric Garner was trying to help me and the police choked them. And I was in a psych ward and my mother's daughters killed her. Bolali and Florida killed her, and the Nigerian embassy promised to help us. So they were going to contact the Nigerian government because Nigeria has a bilateral agreement with the U.S. government, and you know, any crime that happens against a Nigerian or an American, both governments work together to solve it. So a lot of white Americans that are attacked by Nigerian fraudsters, you know, the Nigerian government would help arrest the Nigerians and bring them to America, you know, to be prosecuted. So in this case, you know, they could have asked the American government for a favor in return. Like, we always help you guys out when a Nigerian commits a crime against an American, a white American. So they could have just asked the American government to arrest these police officers for violating my rights and for the Arizona killing, to open up an investigation And the Nigerian government promised to help me, and they broke contact with me. Each time I called them, they started hanging up the phone on me. You know, and another black American that's part of the top 50. He's been choked dead. His name is Jordan Neely. I'm another member of the top 50. You know, and they choked me once, and they told me they're gonna do it again. You know, and they said recently, my mother brought me to New York City at 19, and and arrested me. The immigration arrested me. You know, so they said that there's an immigrant who he came to America at 19 and was shooting at the police. You know, and he shot up some 2 police officers. So the police now released a picture in which they stood for a pose, and they were they had their hand fist fucking their other hand. I'm sorry to be so graphic. They had their hand fist fucking their other hand, and that's no way for police to stand up to shoot a photo pose. And the last time that happened, where people stood up for a photo, was when an immigrant killed a white American nurse in Atlanta. They say he came illegally into the country also, and he went and killed a white American nurse. And I believe some of those nurses stood for a pose, a picture. I believe some of them may be part of the Me Too, and they had their hand, they stood, with their hand fist fucking their second hand. That's the kind of photo they're shooting. And soon after that, I was attacked by some Me Too workers in the library. They told me I can't come back to the library. They called the police on me. So anytime something bad happens, whenever an immigrant does something, like the Senegalese guy threw water at the police in 2019, and the police came and put me in a chokehold some days later. You can Google it. The Senegalese, this was July 23rd, 2019. This incident you're watching happened on July 23rd, 2019, after a Senegalese guy threw water at the police in Harlem. So, and this year, I believe this year, an immigrant, killed a white American nurse in Atlanta, and all the nurses that were the friend of this white American nurse, they stood for a photo, and in that photo they all stood took a risk picture, in a sexually type picture, in which they had their hand fist fucking their other hand. I'm going to play a video of that pose that was done by the nurses, but this time around was done by the police officers in New York, after an immigrant, 19-year-old immigrant, shoot them. So after the nurses took that photo in which one hand was fist fucking the other hand, I'm sorry to be so graphic, then I went to the library, and some Me Too type workers in the library told me I can't come back to the library. He said I did something to them weeks ago. I'm like, why are you now telling me about this now? They said, no, they forgot about it, but now they just remembered. And they called the police on me, and I was banned from the Murray Street Library and all New York Public Library. I have the video on my YouTube also. I have the video on my YouTube. I may not be able to find it now. Yeah, this is the video. So this was February 24, 2024. So this was after the American nurse was killed by the immigrant. This is the police.
911. I've been coming to this library, and one of me, the right signal, so it smells like shit. They won't be looking at me. I don't bother them. And she got given again to be looking.
Yeah, that's the American nurse that was killed. The photo was pasted in the Daily News. That was that quick. Let me replay it.
911. I've been coming to this library. One of them, the right signal, so it smells like shit. They won't be looking at me. I don't bother them. And she got given again to be.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's the white American nurse, I believe, that was killed. If I'm not mistaken, I hope it is. Yeah, because a photo, and if it's not really her, a photo was on top of all newspapers, and they called the police on me. As soon as I went to the library, they would make fun of me. They make fun of me as an African. Like some black Americans were told to leave the airline. American Airlines said they smell like shit. They would tell me that I smell like shit also. I used to work as a home health aide. I know how to take care of my body. I have body wipes. So that's the insult they passed on blacks. The blacks things. They said some black American male workers and some black American customers of the American Airlines were pulled over from the American airline. Said some customers were complaining they smell like shit or something. So they say people that want to be caring, they always say blacks smell bad. And I also have a liver disease. In which a liver type disorder that gives me like diarrhea. But I always take care of my body. I always use body wipes to wipe myself. But they harass me in the bathroom. They don't even let me use the bathroom. Every bathroom I go to bring the police to be banging on the door. They don't let me take care of my hygiene. So, and they deny me laundry services where I normally go to do laundry at. So, and they've been telling people to tell me, go kill yourself. We're not going to let you survive in America. So as soon as the black American nurse was killed by the immigrant, they ordered me out of the library here in New York. Yep. This is the letter. They accused me of something that happened weeks ago. I'm like, why are you giving me the letter now? On February 23rd. This was after the white nurse must have been killed close to February 20, before February 20. And they went on top of the letter. As soon as they heard an immigrant killed a white American nurse, they type up this letter February 20. Say I did something to them weeks ago. And they embarrassed me and called the police on me to kick me out of the library. So, because I was trying to get the Me Too lawyer arrested Gloria Allred. Because Erigana was trying to help me with my court papers in 2014 against the NYPD. The NYPD went and took Erigana dead. So I contacted Gloria Allred, the Me Too lawyer, that I was sexually attacked by the NYPD when they kicked me out of my apartment. And Erigana was trying to help me with my court papers. The police went and choked him dead, and they were laughing as they were choking him. And Gloria Allred said she can't help me, that she needs the NYPD to arrest R. Kelly and Weinstein so she can make money for her client. So she was, in essence, bribing the NYPD to arrest R. Kelly. You can't bribe a government official to arrest somebody so you can make money for your clients. And since then, R. Kelly has been arrested, Weinstein has been arrested, and she made money for her client. So it's me that got sacrificed. And after that, the police choked me. So I was talking about this Gloria Allred that she needs to be arrested. I was talking about her on the train station. Then in 2020, they locked up all the bathrooms, say because of COVID. And the guy took me home at the train station on 161 Street. He was lurking behind, around and said I could come to his house. He took me to his house, and he told me he wanted to get married right away. And I heard, people, some people engage in scam marriage if they feel you're worth money. And when they marry you, they'll get half of the money. And if you die in the process they get 100% of the money. Because my mother's been killed and I don't have any loving relative. So I believe I was set up by this Me Too, who planted this guy. So the MTA secretly lock up all the bathrooms. They didn't announce it. So I didn't know what was going on. So they wanted to create that panic in me. I needed to use the bathroom that day. I was going from one station to another. No bathroom. So I ended up in the Bronx, from Brooklyn. I ended up in the Bronx. So I was about to mess up my pants. So this guy appeared. And so he told me to come to his house. So they used that psychological control over me. So it was like my savior. And he took me to his house. And he told me he wanted to get married right away. So I could stay in his house to be using the bathroom. He said, but he wants to get married right away. I told him, no, I don't want to get married. Within 6 days, he punched me and kicked me out of his house. And he was forcing himself on me sexually and stuff. And each time, he told me he was going to evict me, if I don't obey him and stuff. So I believe the MTA and the Me Too punished me by locking up all the bathrooms so a guy could take me to his house and, force himself on me sexually. And they punched me. And when I called the police, the Gloria Allred said she works with the police. And, and they look out for each other. The police wouldn't arrest this Me Too guy. They told me if this guy wants you out of it, I don't know if it's a Me Too guy, but I suspect he works for the Me Too. They told me you're coming out of this house. We don't care about what Cuomo. I told them Cuomo said you can't evict somebody. It's 2020. There's an eviction freeze, and the police said you're coming out of this house. We're evicting you with them. Like Gloria Albert told me that the police and her work together. Yeah, they look out for each other, so she can't go against them. Yup. So this is like a RICO. So this MTA got me raped, in 2020, lock up at the bathroom to put me in panic mode so this guy can take me home and rape me and force himself on me. And he told me if I don't comply with them, if I give him problem, he was going to evict me, throw me out, and eventually threw me out, because I refused him sex and he threw me out, punched me and threw me out. And the police complied. My face was bloody, So now they said an immigrant that came into America at 19 years old, that came to America with my mother at 19 also, said shoot at the police. And this police started releasing photos whereby they were standing and fist fucking their hands. Each other's, they would fist fuck their two hands, dip their one hand in the other hand, like they're fist fucking themselves. And no police should be releasing that kind of risk photo. It's too racy, it's too sexually suggestive, and it's like they're saying that they're gonna fuck somebody up. Just like when the Senegalese got through water at them in 2019, they came and put their nail on my neck as an African some days later. In Berry and Forfa. You can watch the full video on my YouTube page. And also, and there's another one I want to talk about. I can't remember right now. So they don't let me sleep at night. They use the undercover unit to harass me in the train stations. They'll be banging or whatever, wherever I sit at, they'll be banging at the window or the door next to where I sit at. I'm going to play a video that explains it more. So I just want to give you the preview of that video, because you may not. In the video I'm about to show you next, you see the police officer making an illegal turn. They always try to terrorize me anywhere I'm at, and you see a police officer making an illegal turn without turning on his siren. And when I tried that, I was close to the Standard Ferry, and also when I tried to use the bathroom at the Standard Ferry, they have some of the Spanish workers, or Spanish people that were making noise like a monkey, and the one called the police on me. So they don't let me use the bathroom. They don't give me enough time to use the bathroom. They try to keep me unsanitary. Yeah, there's another video I wanted to show you. The place I normally go to take a shower and wash my clothes in Newark. They told me to stop coming here to take a shower. They no longer allow people with belongings. And I saw them allowing Black Americans with belongings to go there to take a shower, do laundry. So I'm trying to find that video, but it's in my YouTube. I just can't find it right now. It's in my YouTube. I don't know if it's this one. I'm going through a lot. There's a video of me being dressed to the bathroom, and I'm being threatened that the police is going to arrest me as a homeless African on the street. The NYPD took my home in 2010. I was living in the basement apartment with my mother, and okay, this is that's not the video, but it's in my YouTube. It's in my YouTube somewhere where they deny me access to to take a shower where I normally go to in Newark to take a shower and wash my clothes. I can't find that video right now. But it's in my YouTube. So I'm going to play the video of how they were harassing me. The police were harassing me yesterday. And to they had a Spanish female come on the train with me around 3 a.m., and she was saying the black male just hit her in the face also, but she wants to go home with them. And she was making fun of the guy, the Me Too guy that took me home and was punching me also. And she was, at first she was banging on the door, on the door next to the door next to my seat, the emergency door, and she was banging on it, boom, 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 boom. That's how the police don't normally come and bang on the door to the bathroom. So they humiliate him in the bathroom, and it's considered terrorism. A black American male brought a gun to a train station last year and was shooting at people. Nobody died, but is now in prison for life imprisonment. This is considered terrorism in a transportation facility when you scare somebody, and this is what they're doing. They threatened to steal my property. They had a black American lesbian in 2000. As soon as Trump became president, she's threatening me that because I used to record the bathroom at Franklin Avenue. They used to leave it dirty. It used to be like sewage water used to come out when each time you flush. And I was recording it, that leave it unsanitary, and she told me, we're going to steal all that phones from you. She said, you mark my word, we're going to steal all that phones from you, you're not going to have any evidence left. And soon after that, they put me on a chokehold. As soon as an African was throwing water at the police in 2019, within a few days, the NYPD put me in a chokehold near the train station. Just like the black American Butch threatened me. They put me in a chokehold and took all my belonging. And wheeled me out after they put the chokehold on me. People were recording and telling the police to stop choking me, and wheeled me into the hospital ward for 7 days. And the hospital, I was calling the Department of Investigation. That I told them when the police arrested me, I believe it was in retaliation because an African was throwing water at them a few days earlier, and the Department of Investigation sent their team, and they came by me and wouldn't talk to me and walked past me in the hospital. And I was approaching them, I was trying to speak with them, and they walked past me. They were wearing suit. It was like a black American male. It was a heavy set with suit on. So they were joining to mock me as I was detained unlawfully in the hospital. And I asked the hospital, why was the guy not talking with me? The hospital said, we told him not to talk with you. We told him not to investigate nothing. So I don't know if the hospital bribed them, the Department of Investigation guy, in the NYC Psychiatric Hospital. So this is real corruption. So I'm going to play the video, of yesterday as I was being harassed in the train. I was on the train from like 3 a.m. and as soon as I got on the train, some guys came over and they were shouting Brooklyn Bridge. I sometimes go to Brooklyn Bridge and they were shouting Brooklyn Bridge. And they held the door open on 125th Street in Harlem. And the train conductor called the police, and as soon as I started recording, then the train conductor locked the door and started driving, so I wouldn't be able to record nothing, to make it look like nothing happened, So I don't know why they need to cover up, so quickly. Then after that, I closed my eyes. Then this Spanish female came and started banging on the door. Bam, 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 bam. The emergency door, and came and sat next to me. Then her boyfriend was sitting across the street, and she was saying the boyfriend hit her in the face, but she still wants to go home with them. And the boyfriend was, I don't want you anymore. I was like, they were making mockery of the fact that the MTS set me up. Lock up at the bathroom 2020. I had a guy take me home and was forcing himself on me and so was trying to evict me if I don't comply. And now the MTA President Dave said he's finally going back home to Boston on September 9th. So he says he's starting a new job. September 9th was when the NYPD evicted me and my mother from my home on Staten Island, and I regret I was trying to help us, and they choked him dead. So September 9th is a day that has a very bad connotation for me. So it's like they're using mockery. So, this Dave, they say his name is Dave. He's a white male. He said he's finally leaving New York City Transit and going back to his hometown forever. September 9th, starting a new job. I'm like, why are you using dates that's significant to me? And those are the dates that's also significant to you. So on September 9 was when 2010 was when they kicked my mother out of our home. And 2014 the guy was trying to help us with court papers, and the police went and choke him dead. So they need to investigate this MTA for me being raped, and for their police officers now. As soon as an immigrant that came into America at 19, my mother brought me to America at 19 also. You say shoot 2 police officers, and these police officers, now the police officers at NYPD released a photo in which they were fist fucking their hand. Each love their police officers stood and they were, with a pose showing their fist fucking their own self with their own hand. They dip one hand into another hand, make a fist or like a punch fist, and dip it into another hand, and they make a hole. You know, it was so risk a picture was sexually suggestive, so that it's like they're trying to fuck somebody up. You know, and as soon as another people that shoot a video like that, shoot a photo like that, was in the friends of an American nurse that was killed by an immigrant. You know, and all our friends that were nurses also, you know, shoot a photo in which they were all fist fucking their own hand. You know, in the photo, they made one hand to make it look like a punch fist hand, and they used another hand to make a hole, and they dipped the punch fist hand into the whole hand, like they were fist fucking themselves. You know, and soon after that, I went to the library. I pressed the video again, and they called the police on me to kick me out of the library. So NYPL Public Library in Murray Street, and it seems some of those workers were like Me Too workers. You know, and they were harassing me in the bathroom. They were harassing me in the library. You know, so it seems this is the American nurse that got killed. I don't know the pronunciation of her name. Even the president was mispronouncing her name and stuff. You know, I don't know the name. I can't remember her name. You know, so I believe they don't. So they called there. You know, as I went to grab the newspaper, you know, show me this American nurse. I was about to read it. I was sitting there about to read it. Then the guy approached me, one of the workers, and was shouting my name. You know, and said, you know, we want you out of the library now. He said, you broke our rules. I said, what did I do? He said, you did something to us 3 weeks ago. I said, why are you now waiting for an American nurse to be killed? He said, we forgot about it, but we just remembered. Oh, they said the person that was supposed to kick me out went on vacation, just came back. You know, that was the excuse. I'm like, so did you have no other person to kick me out for 3 weeks? He said, I did something 3 weeks ago. I waited till an American nurse was killed by an immigrant. So that's when the person returned from vacation. They said only that person has the power to kick me out. You know, I said, so why didn't you call the police on me if I did something bad to you 3 weeks ago? And I said, you know, they had to wait for somebody that went on vacation to come. I said, I believe it was due to an American nurse being killed by an immigrant. I believe some of you work for the Me Too also. So they called the police on me. They were trying to get me angry so the police can come and kill me. So it's called being a Karen. When they get you angry and call the police, so when you're in an angry state, the police can come and kill you, say you are being disruptive. So they're setting out to get killed. I believe this is Me Too. Even the guy that took me home in 2020, it will be mistreating me. And was trying to get me to fight him. He told me he had the gun. You know, he had a handcuff. I'm like, you know the police, how come you have a handcuff? He had knives and all that. You know, I'm like, how come you have all these police weapons on you? You know, so I believe this is Me Too. You know, I'm afraid for my life in case I'm killed, and it caused an accidental killing. It's an accidental killing. It's well staged. I believe this is Me Too, and the top 50 program of this MT, and this Governor Oku says she supports it. And Jumani Williams says, you know, he has information that a high-ranking state official is helping incite his attack against an homeless immigrants. You know, I believe it's Oku, Jumani Williams talking about, and the homeless immigrant that's, you know, they're inciting hate attacks against. You know, and this Governor Oku said they should be treating homeless like crazy, and you know, I'm taking them to the psych ward. You know, and they've killed so many blacks in the psych ward, like my mother, like this, another black called Elijah McLean. He was coming home from work, and somebody called the police and said he looked crazy, and the police asked the paramedic to inject him with ketamine, and he died of a heart attack, and the police choked him also. You know, and a Canadian actor, Matthew Perry, Matthew Perry, he was a star in Friends. He bought a mansion in Los Angeles, and they said he overdosed on ketamine. Somebody gave him ketamine overdose, and they're still trying to arrest the person that gave him the ketamine. So they say it's a psychiatric medication, and it's easy to overdose on it. So any little overdose, it causes you to die. So I believe I'm being set up. They put me in the top 50 program. Another person that was in the top 50 program has been choked dead. His name is Jordan Neely. He's a black American male. So I believe they put me in the top 50 program, and to choke me again. They've already choked me once. I survived, and I believe they might plan to choke me again. So this was the time they choked me, and they always wait for something to happen significant, and to try to harm me. On this day that they choked me, it was July 23rd, 2019, an African had just thrown water on the police. And they did it, and they would first annoy me, whether in the library, whether in the train, and bring the police to make it look like I'm an angry black person, I'm an angry black immigrant. And this Governor Oko is saying that they should be arresting homeless and put them in psych ward. I believe when a police officer was killed by a Spanish male. This police officer resides in Long Island, and the Governor Oku went to his funeral in Long Island, and the police walked Governor Oku out. See, they need more power. They need more power from her. And the police released a photo also in which they were fist fucking their hands. They did one hand like a hole, and did one hand like a punch, and they dipped their hand that looked like a punch into the hole, their hand that looked like a hole. This was, and it shows that I believe they may be threatening someone like me, that we're going to have this person up soon. So I'm afraid for my life, because after the police threatened me, a police officer threatened me in this neighborhood, and I reported a badge number in 2019 immediately to the IAB. IAB hung up on me. I called them back, and they took the badge number down, and soon afterwards, like she threatened me, they put their nail on my neck and took all my property from me and wheeled me away. They were about to kill me. I couldn't breathe anymore. They were smothering me, and then they put their nail on my neck. It was the strangers that were telling them to get off me. So I believe that this police is to be investigated for gang. The ones that are, fist fucking their own hands. I'm sorry to be so graphic. So I'm going to play the video of them fist fucking their own hand. And yesterday, June 6, 2024, I was on the train, and they were doing, also my mother said her daughters are part of a gang. So in between the gang, my mother's daughters are part of Balani and Florida, and they killed my mother, and this police gang, in between them, I believe this is where the trouble I'm experiencing is coming from, and this Me Too also, so in case I'm harmed, our daughters should be arrested for endangering my life. If they can't even arrest them for killing my mother, for taking my green card and my passport. Because with my green card and passport, I'll be able to get government assistance and, and get food stamp and stuff. So it's really hard for me to even rent a hotel room without my green card, So, and also, I wanted to say something else, but, they deny me sleep at night. This is too much torture. So I'm going to play the video now of yesterday. They've been denying me sleep all night long. As soon as they killed my friend Eric Garner, they had somebody punch me up, and I went to the. So this is the police car making an illegal turn without a siren turned on. This was after I got out of the train station, in which they were shouting Brooklyn Bridge, and they head up the train in Harlem. They won't let me. It was 3 a.m. yesterday. Soon after that, an hour later, this Spanish woman came on the train also, and she was banging on the door, emergency door. She went into the emergency door exit. While the train was moving, she was banging on the door like bam, 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 and then she came and sat next to me as I was trying to close my eyes, and she was telling her boyfriend that her boyfriend was like black American, her partner was black American male, and she was like Spanish, and she was saying he hit her in the face, but she still wants to follow him home, and the black American man was telling her to leave him alone. He's tired of her. It's like they were making fun of the guy that took me home and hit me in the face, So all throughout yesterday, they were just terrorizing me, and the police released a photo in the AM New York, in which they were fist fucking their own hands. The one hand, they made a hole out of one hand, and the other hand, they made a fist, and they dipped the hand that looked like a fist into the hole in the other hand, and this is how they stood up for a photo shoot. which is risk, which is sexually suggestive, and it's like they're suggesting to F somebody up. And each time they release a photo like that, I'll get attacked by the police. They'll call the police on me somewhere, So this is a police making an illegal turn in front of me with that siren turned on. So I'm going to rewind and replay it. Hospital. Look how the turn is making. They've been denying me sleep all night long. As soon as they killed my friend Eric Garner, I went to, they had somebody punch me up, and I went to the hospital. Look, without a siren. Without no siren. That's a very dangerous turn. No siren, nothing. No siren sound. As soon as they killed Eric Garner, I went to the hospital. So it made that turn by standing on ferry, Manhattan Terminal in Lower Manhattan. I heard this mayor comes there all the time. I've approached him I've been contacting him on Twitter to help me as a homeless. I was vacated by the city of New York. The police removed me from my home. He's been helping Black Americans like me, put them in hotel rooms if they were vacated, but he refused to help me. I sent so many messages on Twitter. I heard he comes regularly to that area. He says he's trying to get the homeless also in psych wards. I said, I need housing, not a psych ward. I need a hotel room because there was a court order in 2000 and in the 1990s that anybody removed from a basement apartment has to be put in a 5-star hotel permanently and be given stipends to go find an apartment to rent. And they refused to help me. It's been 14 years now I've been on the street, and they're not helping me. And they're saying, I said both Governor Oko and Mayor Adams saying, the homeless on the street need to be moved to psych ward. And I heard they use that as a ruse to kill people here in America, in the psych wards. And also, I heard a lady that was in coma in a Florida hospital. The male nurse was raping her also, and she became pregnant, and the baby fell out of her genitalia 9 months later. And the hospital in Florida claimed they didn't know nothing about it, that they didn't know she was pregnant. And then the woman in coma, she had the mother that was alive, and the mother came and took the baby and got the nurse arrested. So I believe they've been trying to move into psych ward to get me raped, because I heard when Eric Garner died, he had a baby on the way, and when the baby was born after Eric Garner died, the baby was entitled to money from the Eric Garner's estate. So I'm thinking they're trying to get me raped and put me under sedation with a drug, and rape me and give my semen to an American woman and claim I know her, and create confusion. And because I say, if you're killed, because my mother's already killed and I have no loving family member, so any child, I don't have any children, but any child would take precedent, and would inherit your estate. And whoever the mother is would get child support for 21 years. So I believe this is part of the reason why they've been trying to get me killed and put me in the psych ward again. Because they were sexually attacking me. Also, the last time they put me in the psych ward, NYC Psychiatric Hospital 2019, when they put their nail on my neck. So when they put you under sedation like that, you won't know what is going on anymore. So this has to be investigated, and they lock up the bathroom, had a guy take me home, and it was sexually under threat that was going to evict me and was sexually taking advantage of me. I said, if I don't obey him, he's going to evict me. I didn't want to be evicted, and when I told him no, I'm tired of the abuse, he punched me and evicted me, and the police joined up with him. I said, for disobeying him, for not agreeing to be sexually abused anymore, the police told me we're kicking you out also. We're joining with them. So I believe he's a Me Too guy. Like Gloria Albert told me, she and the police tag team, Me Too and the police tag team together, look out for each other. And she covered up my sexual abuse by the police in 2010, so she can't go against them. She needs them to arrest R. Kelly, arrest Weinstein, and make money for her client. And she has made money for her client, like she told me. When the MTA lock up the bathrooms to create a scare in me so I could follow this guy home, and he was coming on to me sexually, and he told me if I ever disobey him, he was going to kick me out. And when I told him I didn't want sexual advance, when I refused the sexual advance, that was they punched me and kicked me out. And the police joined up with them. So for disobeying him. So this is what this Me Too is doing. And they said the MT has also introduced a top 50 program in which another member of the top 50 was choked dead, Jordan Neely. I'm another member of the top 50. The police choked me also. And nobody's helping me as a Nigerian transsexual. The Nigerian person would help me. And the MTA president is laughing about it and about saying he's also leaving in September and is going to his hometown. He's going to be out of New York for good. I'm like, why September 9th though, starting a new job in Boston? September 9th carries significance. That's when the police kicked my mother out. And the Uganda was trying to help us to get back in. They shot him dead 4 years later in 2014. But September 9th, and I said a lot of people that the criminal types, they like to talk in code. To tell each other they're down with the team. So they use, words that are significant to me, So the AM New York did a report that on September 9, the MTA president, Davey, I don't know how to pronounce his name, no pun intended, is starting a new job. That night, he started a new job on September 9. September 9 carries so much significance because that's the time they evicted me and my mother. My mother almost had a heart attack and died. So I'm going to continue playing the video of yesterday where they were harassing me in the train station. And they wouldn't let me close my eyes. And I came and sat at the park in front of Skyline Ferry, and the police came driving towards me like it's about to. And they've been having people trying to hit me with cars also. So I don't know why that police officer decided to make an illegal turn in front of me. Is it a terror warning? And anytime I record, sometimes they will have the ambulance trying to hit me in front of the Washington Market Park, and I will record it as the ambulance is fleeing after it tries to hit me. I'll record it with my phone, but sometimes my phone wouldn't turn on early enough and the ambulance would have fled. But there's a police camera in front of Washington Market Park then, and I will record the police camera. That if anything happens to me, they should, at the Washington Market Park on Chambers and Greenwich, I will record, that an ambulance just fled at 12 midnight, tried to hit me, was waiting, laying siege for me, because I normally walk past that area at 12 midnight. I always go use the bathroom at another park, Pier 25, and when I'm leaving, coming back from the bathroom, close to 12 midnight, I will cross the street in front of the Washington Market Park, and they will stage an ambulance there waiting for me and will try to hit me. So I'll bring up my camera to record, and the ambulance will flee, and sometimes my camera wouldn't turn on quickly enough because my phone would be off. Then I would record the police camera there in front of the Washington Market Park. Said the police camera will pick up this ambulance fleeing at 12 midnight. And they've removed that police camera. They said the police commissioner Caban came to that area and said that they're going to be protecting kids. So they're going to be protecting kids. And I've been noticing that anytime I try to use the bathroom, they will be using the baby stroller to harass me. We're going to use it to block the door, so I won't be able to leave the bathroom. And I'll be held in prison. They'll use the baby stroller, put the baby in the baby stroller, and block the door, so I won't be able to come out of the bathroom. And I'll be telling the person, it's like, can you please remove your baby? And the person will be in another store and put the baby stroller in front of my store, so I can't come out of my store. I said, I don't want to touch your baby stroller. Can you please, I said, you can't be holding me hostage in the bathroom, and I'll call the security and they'll tell me, that, I need to stop complaining and just, stop being a problem. And they'll try to make me look like I'm the problem, I'm like, it is not right to use a baby stroller to imprison me in the bathroom, And since then, they've been, any bathroom I use, they either spray water on me when I'm using the bathroom, they'll pass the water hose through the window, and be spraying me with water. And when I call the police will tell me they want to lock me up in the cycle. And at the Washington Market Park. And sometimes the people will try to hit me with cars. So this, yesterday, June 6, 2024, they were harassing me in the train. So I left the train station. I came to sit down in front of the Staten Ferry, Manhattan Terminal. And this police came and made a somewhat illegal turn. Like was trying to drive up to me, so they need to investigate this. Am I being terrorized? I don't know what that is about. So I'm going to replay the video from scratch. They've been denying me sleep all night long. As soon as they killed my friend Eric Garner, they had somebody punch me up, and I went to the hospital. Look how the time is making. We have no siren. That's a very dangerous turn. No siren, nothing. As soon as they killed Eric Garner, I went to the hospital, and one of the nurses was telling me I should go declare myself crazy. It's like they've been trying to, hurt my mental mental state to make me a non-credible witness. And all night long, they've been bothering me to let me sleep. I was on the train at 3 a.m. They brought some black American guys and they were shouting, broken bridge, and they were screaming. And and the train went to the conductor opened the door and was calling for police. And as I started recording, that's when they locked the door up to make it look like nothing happened. Then later, this woman and this man came, and the woman was banging on the door, like the police would bang on the door. And she was saying she wants to go to hospital. Somebody, the man hit her in the face. And then they put this around me. Some guy came out, was calling me Marshall. Excuse me, my name is not Marshall. So I've already talked about some of this. So I'll try to skip forward to see if I can locate the police the picture whereby they were fist fucking their own hand, to try to see if I can see, if I can skip forward to the. Yeah. So So they have their hand fist fucking, one hand fist fucking the other hand. It's like this was it's a 19-year-old immigrant. My mother brought me here to America at 19 in 2000. And in July 2000, I was 19 years old. So an immigrant, I was 19 years old. Shoot at the police. And this police released a photo with their hand in a fist fuck position. This is not professional. Also, the Me Too nurses, as soon as an immigrant killed an American nurse in Atlanta, the nurses that were friends, of this American nurse, released a photo also with their hands fist fucking each other. Like this pose. I call it fist fuck pose. And soon after that, I went to the library. They called the police on me, kicked me out of the library. They were just nitpicking on me. And also, I believe when an immigrant killed a Spanish guy killed. It wasn't an immigrant, it was an American. It was Spanish, and he killed a white police officer that was raised in Long Island. The white police officer that lives in Long Island, and Governor Oko went to Long Island for the funeral of this white police officer. The police also released a photo of themselves at the funeral. They walked Governor Oko out of the funeral until she gives them more power. They don't want her at the funeral. And they legally walked her out. She could have them arrested for insubordination. Because this place always walked me out of places illegally also. They have no right to be derelict in a duty and insubordination, walk your governor out. And she had the state police with her. The state police can arrest the NYPD. And since then, this Governor Oko has been saying black kids in the Bronx are dumb because they don't know how to use the computer. My mother used to live in the Bronx, and she was trying to learn how to use the computer when her daughters, Belenly and Flora, killed her in the hospital. Got her killed in the hospital by Finneman and so on. And I heard the racist white called black adult kids. They said when they were going, they used to call him boy. Say some racist white was calling him boy before they finally killed him. They were taunting him. And it seems, this Governor Oko, they say criminal types like to talk in codes because they don't want to meet up in person because somebody may have a spy camera recording stuff. They say this is what got one of these governors in trouble, Illinois. The Illinois governor, I think his name is pronounced Stephanopoulos. I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm no point telling. Because a lot of governors have gone down for corruption. And I believe this Governor Oko is well aware because Cuomo was almost put in prison for corruption and he resigned, and then she became governor, and the assistant is also now in prison, former assistant Benjamin, for corruption. So I think that's why this Governor Oko may be trying to be more careful. She's also a lawyer, and I heard her child works with the FBI. So she's, anytime I talk about her, she will make some statement like she's referring to me or something, like she's talking in codes. So she said, black kids in the Bronx don't know what a computer is. My mother used to live in the Bronx, in the 80s, and she was trying to learn how to use the computer, before she was killed by her daughters. So my mother didn't save any evidence, and I recorded a lot of stuff, as she would tell me stuff that her daughter was trying to kill her. I recorded a lot of stuff, but all of this stuff has been stolen. I put it in my storage, and my storage did an illegal auction during COVID, even though there was a eviction freeze and there was a debt collection freeze. But as soon as the Me Too guy, I call him a Me Too guy, because he told me he was sexually abused as a child or so that's why I call him a Me Too guy, and he took me home and was forcing himself on me, and he was threatening to evict me if I don't obey him, and when I refused him, he punched me and kicked me out, and the police told him, they were going to honor the illegal eviction, because, I guess for me disobeying him, and they kicked me in, and the police and I told the police, Governor Como at the time was Governor Como in charge, said, you can't evict somebody during the COVID. There was a 1-year freeze on eviction, and the police, allowed me to be evicted, and I've suffered so much on the street. Those police officers need to be arrested for reckless endangerment, because it was a time of Me Too. It was the time of Black Lives Matter marches. And people were getting beat up. There were, people were, and I was getting attacked also, getting punched, because I'm seen as an outsider. I'm seen, because some Black Americans don't like Africans because they believe Africans sold them into slavery. So the Black Lives Matter didn't help me, and I was getting punched and beat up. So they see me as a, as part of the slave merchants or whatever, as an African, as a Nigerian. So I was getting punched and beat up during the Me Too marches. So during the Black Lives Matter marches, I was calling the police all the time. They would punch me, beat me up in the middle of the night, pee on me in Flatbush. And this place called Flatbush, and the cross street is, I can't remember the cross street, Flatbush Avenue, and near the Q train Prospect Park. As soon as you get off the train station and you walk to Flatbush Avenue, that corner, I used to sit at the UPS store, charge my phone all night, and some Black Americans would come in the middle of the night to punch me. One of them removed his penis and was peeing on top of me. Each time I called the police told me they're not going to help me because I sued the police in the past, and then now they're retaliating. So as soon as the guy kicked me out of his house in the Bronx, I was getting peed on, getting punched. They would take my property, throw it in front of moving buses. As an African, I was being abused terribly. I've been treated like a slave, and now these police are putting their hand in their fist, like, they're just, everybody's just abusing like a slave, and nobody's helping me. And the MTA joined and got me raped, locked up on the bathroom, so I'll be in panic, and the guy took me home from the Bronx, near the Yankee Stadium train stop. It was in the train stop, and told me I could come use the bathroom in his house, and he told me if I don't obey him, like an African slave, he was going to throw me out. And when I refused a sexual advance 6 days later, as he was taking advantage of me, he kicked me out, and the police joined up with him. This is why I suspect it's a Me Too guy, because Gloria already told me that the Me Too and the police work hand in hand. Nobody goes against each other. So said that's why she can, that's why she can help me for the Arigona's killing. Because that was going to put the police in trouble. So she can't do that. She can't get the police in trouble. She needs them to arrest R. Kelly. And Weinstein, I make money for a client. Money's more important. So Ariana can't get justice. I can't get justice. And Jumani Williams said he knows, he has information that this Governor Oko is also a high-ranking state official is inciting abuse on immigrants on the street. But nobody's really helping me, and enough is enough, The statute of limitation will expire next month when the police put their nail on my neck. It's a 5-year statute of limitation, so they put their nail on my neck in 2019, July 23rd. Nobody's helping me, and these police are putting their fist in their hand and abusing me like an African slave. So this is the picture, the fist fucking their own hands. This is not no police should be doing this, taking photos like this. The first need to investigate this. And I hope all this Black Lives Matter would, help investigate this also. So I want to show you a clearer picture. I'm going to play the video to show you a clearer photo of their fist fucking their own hands.
Of the gang, and they terrorized him in the bathroom. As soon as,
Okay, so it's a little... It's a little too fast forward.
I'm
gonna try to rewind.
Early this morning, around 4 a.m., a Spanish woman
Yeah,
was
my phone
banging
is
on the
not
door,
working
went
so
into the
good.
emergency door near where I was sat on the train.
My
I
phone
was
is not working so good.
as I started trying to sleep on it, was could have their shoulders.
Yeah. It seems, the guy in the suit also is, is doing his own version of the fist fuck. So I don't know if they plan to fuck up immigrants like me on the street. Could always, come and ambush me in the bathroom. They told some of the Spanish people at the Standard Ferry to be, making monkey sound when I'm in the bathroom. They go and call the police to kick me out. So they always, like fist fuck me, when I try to use the bathroom. They said they did it to Abdullah women. They said some blacks were given the police was trying, I had a problem with some blacks in Brooklyn, and they went and arrested an Asian immigrant, Abdullah Wima, took him to the bathroom and ripped him with a stick. So they, and they always try to kill me in the bathroom. Also, the park police is joining in also. Anytime I go into the park, the park worker at the Washington Market Park in Lower Manhattan, some of the black American workers there will call the park police on me, and they'll surround me like they're about to choke me dead. And the park police don't wear cameras. So this may be the fist fuck that they are threatening. They always try to, they try to do an Abdullah Wima on me in the bathroom. They say, they've seen, I guess they killed Diallo with 42 bullets and didn't go to prison. And they believe, and it was an African, that was killed. And it's like they feel like, they can abuse an African and get away with it. Also, they removed me and my mother from my home, rendered my mother vulnerable, and her daughters got her killed. And the police didn't get charged with felony murder. Because my mother was going to travel to Israel to get her heart operation done, because she didn't want to do her heart operation in a U.S. hospital. Because when immigration arrested me, my mother was was working hard and going to school, and so she couldn't sleep no more. So I called 911 to take her to the hospital, and they went and locked her up in the psych ward. So they misdiagnosed her as crazy, and she wasn't crazy, but they misdiagnosed blacks all the time. So our daughters heard about that, so that's why so because of that, when my mother needed heart surgery, she didn't want to do it in a U.S. hospital. She works in U.S. hospitals also as an assistant nurse, and she said there's a lot of abuse that goes on for immigrants, against immigrants. So she was going to go to Israel to have her heart surgery done when the police invaded her home and kicked us out. And my mother immediately filed a court petition with the Brooklyn Federal Court that she was about to go to Israel to have her heart surgery done, and the police locked us out. And now our passport is missing because she couldn't take her passport out, and she can't go back into the house. She needs the Brooklyn Federal Court to issue an order to allow her to go back into the house to get her passport. And also she's been spending money, to renting hotel rooms, and all the money she wanted to take to Israel, she's now spending it. So our daughters were trying to get my mother to have a heart attack, so they can now say the police prevented my mother from going to Israel and get the inheritance money. So this was why they were trying to, they would put my mother in the back seat of a car and drive her and go hit the wall of a house to scare my mother to death. That was Flora, and my mother's daughters, one of my mother's daughters here in America, the two daughters were the ones that were trying to kill Abalani and Flora. And they said that the Flora was married to a black American soldier, and this black American soldier would try to punch my mother, just to scare her so that she could die, and they could blame it on the NYPD not allowing her to go to Israel to do her heart surgery. And get money, get the inheritance money. So, and they saw my mother, wasn't dead yet, and she told the Bellevue hospital that she still wanted to go to Israel to get her heart surgery done, and they told the hospital to lock her up in the psych ward, that they shouldn't allow her to go to Israel. So just to create that panic in my mother, and it finally worked. They said my mother collapsed. When they told my mother passed the mental health test, her daughter's Balale Flora, and got her cured and went and cashed. My mother said they went to insurance fraud also. She was afraid they were planning to do insurance policy on her. And they took my passport also, everything my mother was holding for me, my green card, and took it to Pennsylvania, and stashed everything in Pennsylvania. So I'm here on the street in New York. These police are putting their fist in their hand, like they're about to fuck up another immigrant like they did Abdullah Wima. And they always try to attack me in the bathroom. The park police is joining in also. They tell the park workers to be making up lies about me. to be fabricating evidence. Anytime I go to the bathroom, they'll lie that I'm a homeless immigrant that's been in the bathroom for days or something. Then the police come get me out. To create confusion. So nobody will know what, because they don't have cameras in the park, and the park police don't wear cameras. So the park police are in solidarity, so they can get any of their people to get me. And that police car, making an illegal turn and almost driving towards me, that needs to be investigated for terrorism. They always terrorize me on the train. That all throughout yesterday, they were terrorizing me from 3 a.m. to like 8 a.m., on the train everywhere I go. And you see the police car driving towards me, and earlier in this video. So please watch my video on YouTube. This is terror. They did Abdul Wima like that. Put a stick in his bottom. So they, after an immigrant shoot at them, and I've been calling 911, reporting this police to IAB. After an immigrant shoot at them, for them to strike a pose, fist fucking their own hand. It may be they're about to do another Abdul Wima on me, and they may try to kill me because they've already put their nail on my neck. Kill my friend and regard her. And they got me ripping the MTA, they lock up the bathroom. I had a guy take me home with him and said I have to obey him. So I'm not married to anybody in case they try to lie. I'm not married. I never promised to marry anybody. I don't want to have children. In case they try to lie, I didn't, I'm not a surrogate. I don't plan anybody to have my kids. In case I'm killed, my body part shouldn't be given to anybody to make children. And they put me in the hospital in the psych ward in 2019. They put a nail in my neck and they were giving me medication. I don't know if they raped me at that time. And they may have my semen, and any child that may have been born since then should be put in foster care. And anybody that claimed to be the mother should be arrested, because I never gave them permission to rape me in the hospital. They said no, it's very common whereby they rape people in the U.S. hospital. A woman in Comatose in Florida, they said the male nurse that was assigned to take care of her was raping her, and her stomach getting bigger and bigger, and the baby fell out of her genitalia 9 months later. And the hospital fell in ignorance. They didn't know where the baby came, they didn't know who the father of the baby was. And the baby looked like the male nurse, and they've since arrested him. So this Governor Oku says she's riding with the dirty cops. She wants homeless to be moved to the psych wards. And these cops, you can see them fist fucking their own hands. They're too irresponsible to be making diagnosis of mental health. Some of them don't even have more than a high school diploma. So this Governor Oku says, and she's a lawyer, so she's riding with the dirty cops. She wants them people to be moved to psych ward. And I heard they use ketamine in U.S. psychiatric hospitals. And a black American was killed by a paramedic with that drug ketamine. And I was talking about him, Elijah McClain, and 3 years later, the mayor of Denver, where he was killed at, brought criminal charges against his killers, and the paramedic was convicted of misuse of medical device, and the police officer was convicted of manslaughter. So this is very dangerous, as this police are fist fucking their own hands. And it's like, it's like a Abdul Wima. And who are they targeting with this fist fuck? Their chest forward, their hands down by their side. So this is the photo. And there's multiple of them. And there's a woman also, she did the fist fuck hand. In school, that's how they teach you. They bring the women police also to harass me. So this is nasty. The evidence look at this police as part of a gang. So one of the women in this photo is the AM New York photo for, I think, June 6, 2024, yesterday. Is that, one of the women also, so they're saying men or women, any one of them, so they need to, I think the FBI has a gang unit that studies photos, that study tattoos. The gang unit of the FBI needs to get on this. And they're terrorizing in the bathroom. So you can watch more of the video on my YouTube. So this is what is going on, Wayne. So, and the Nigerian embassy refused to help me. And in case I'm killed, my body part, I should be cremated. My body part shouldn't be given to anybody to produce a child. It's like So I think some criminals who also are trying to engage in child trafficking, because they believe if you're worth money and you're killed, if they can get your semen to produce a child, or say, you promise you're a surrogate or whatever. I don't have any agreement for anybody to produce a child for me. I don't want any children. I'm single. I don't have no children. And also in case they run their car into, like that police car was driving, facing me, making an illegal turn. They've been having people trying to hit me with cars. And this Governor Oku says she supports nitrogen treatment that would, for people that are like that are disabled. The nitrogen will keep you in that disabled state for a long time. So I guess you suffer more. So I don't want no nitrogen treatment. And also, like in 2001, when I got my state ID, I said I wanted my body parts donated for research. Under my right of sepulchre, I received that decision. Under the right of sepulchre, I can change my mind. In case I'm killed, I want my body parts cremated. I don't want my body parts to be used for any experiment. And also, I'm not safe in any other country. I'm a U.S. permanent resident. America is my home. And also, so in case they try to harm me, and say that they want to move me out of America, my mother has family in England, but she approached her family to help us when we were homeless and said they didn't want to help us with money. And also, my father has family in England, but I was abused by my father. And I don't trust my father's family. I'm not safe in Nigeria. I was abused in Nigeria. I'm a transsexual. So, and whether England or Canada, I'm not safe in any of these countries because they are U.S. allies. And just like the police didn't help Erigona get justice after the police killed her, if I'm killed in any country, I'm afraid the police won't investigate those countries because they're U.S. allies. They are NATO allies. I love these countries. So the only place I'm safe in is America, and I use the word safe, quote and unquote, with quote buttons. So I'm safer here. If the people can just help me get justice. So the statute of limitations is about to expire next month when the police put their nail in my neck. And I think they're doubling down. They saw the police put their nail in my neck in 2019 and didn't get arrested. So now they're doing the fist fuck photo pose. And anytime I go into the bathroom, it's very significant. They've been terrorizing me in the bathroom. And they said the police put a stick in Abdul Luwima and raped him with a stick, Abdul Luwima. And they're doing the fist fuck pose. That's very significant.
At night, in the neighborhood.
Yeah, this fist fuck pose is very significant. Because they always attack me in the bathroom. Stop banging on the door. And yesterday, the Spanish female was banging on the train door, emergency door, and then came on the train, and then opened the emergency door to come in, and was saying a boyfriend, a black American boyfriend, hit her in the face, but she still wants to go back home with him. And the boyfriend was saying, the partner, they was saying, he doesn't want her anymore. So they were making fun of the guy that took me home and hit me in the face because I was refusing sexual. I told him, when he wanted to abuse me sexually. Again, and then he kicked me, punched me, and I called the police, and the police kicked me out, even though there was a freeze on eviction, a 1-year freeze on eviction, and the police joined it. And since then, I was on the street, and somebody was sending black Americans to be punching me. One black American guy on Flatbush, near the train station, Prospect Park train station. I was sitting in front of the UPS store, late at night, charging my phone, and one guy, they had people to come and punch me regularly. And the guy brought out his penis and was peeing on top of me. And I called the police wouldn't help me. They were sexually degrading me. Because it was a time of violence. People were marching for George Floyd. And, so this reckless endangerment, since the police joined with the guy in the Bronx that was sexually abusing me and kicked me out, even though there was a freeze on eviction, I was abused sexually on the street. A guy brought his penis out, was peeing on top of me, in 2020. And the UPS camera will pick him up, peeing on top of me. Even the phone booth camera will pick him up. We see him with his penis. I was a black American male. And he will come to the bathroom with me also. On my birthday, came into the bathroom. I had to call 911. He always has a way to sneak up on me. He'll bring out his penis, pee on top of me. Sexually, So this police seems to be, for allowing me to be on the street, for me to be sexually abused. Those police officers that joined with the male in the Bronx to kick me out because I told him I didn't want him to abuse me sexually anymore. and he was punching me and kicked me out, and the police joined up with them. So for disobeying is sexual abuse, so they had to arrest those police in the Bronx, arrest him also for sexually abusing me, using his power as a landlord, to force himself on me sexually, and tell him if I disobey him, I'm going to be kicked out. And then the black American that brought his penis out and peed on me, in front of the UPS store, and I called 911, and they didn't help me. The phone booth there on, before they go and remove the phone booth, I even called the state attorney general, Lisa James. She wasn't interested in that case. I don't know what is going on, why black Americans don't want to help Africans, and they have power. Mayor Adams don't want to help me. Lisa James don't want to help me. So this has to be under investigation. What has Oku turned the state into? And Jumaane Williams saying a high-ranking state official is helping incite hate attacks on immigrants on the streets, homeless immigrants on the street. So the international community needs to look into this. The affairs need to look into this. They can't let these people get away with this. They're doing the fist fuck hand pose. No police should be shooting photos like this. They should have their shoulders, their chest out, their hands on their side. In school, they teach you how to stand for a picture. For a picture. What does this Mayor Adam turn this police force into, and this Governor Oko? This is sexually suggestive, and judging by the fact that Abdul Luwima was sexually abused by the police, they put their stick in his bottom, and those police went to prison. But I, as an African, this police, through their negligence, my mother's daughters were able to kill my mother. She should have gone to Israel to get her heart surgery done, but for the fact that the police removed us early from our home, and we was spending money like crazy, going to renting hotel rooms, so my mother couldn't go to Israel anymore. That's just that, And I'm experiencing so much sexual abuse. All my properties have been stolen on the street. As soon as the mail kicked me out of the Bronx, my storage also did an illegal auction, because there was a freeze on auctioning, on indoor gathering, and on debt collection. Both my storages, Extra Space Storage in Harlem and American Storage on Staten Island, they did immediately. The guy kicked me out of the Bronx, kicked me out of the home in the Bronx, and they saw the police, started with them. Both my storages also did an auction on my property without proper notice to me, even though it was illegal to do a debt collection. Then there was a freeze on debt collection, freeze on eviction, and people were just treating me like an African slave anywhere I went to. I called the police on the American Storage on Staten Island, and the police arrived there. They were arresting people on Staten Island for indoor gathering, but the police told me, nope, we're not going to arrest nobody. They told them to carry on with the auction. Gave them a special waiver, even though Governor Oko said no indoor gatherings then. And they brought people in there. Who knows if they were spreading COVID and was taking my property, did an illegal auction 2020. The evidence I had against the NYPD, everything stolen. The evidence, my mother's, I was recording my mother's voice, saying her daughters were about to kill her. Everything was stolen. The Nigerian embassy wouldn't help me also. I don't know. I told them, they were about to auction off my property in the storage. The Nigerian embassy promised to help me. And they started hanging up the phone on me after that. So I don't know why they played me like that and allowed all my stuff to be stolen. And and they said the Nigerian government is so broke, and they would looking for money because they're running out of dollars. And they said, well, anytime somebody gets killed here in America, like Diallo, the taxpayers will send money to the family member. Diallo had a loving mother. My mother has been killed already. I don't have any loving family member. My mother's daughters, Bolani and Floyd, killed her in America. So in case I'm killed, international human rights organizations should take over my case and get justice for me and my mother, and the remaining money should be given as charity to people that experience xenophobia like me. And if in case I'm harmed, I should be allowed to remain in America, because no other country is safe for me. And international human rights organizations should take custody of me in America and get justice for me and my mother, and use the money to help me, to sustain me. So this is what's going on,